What do you think about 2030's news headline? What will it say?
Blockchain, the quiet backbone of global infrastructure.
Wow, you're such a builder. I was going to say Bitcoin to the moon, 1 million.
That too.
One crypto buzzword you wish could disappear forever.
Utility.
I'm guessing you're not a fan of meme coins.
No comment.
Hey everyone, welcome to BingX Block Banter. I'm your host Ariel, and today we're talking about the future of Web3 media. Joining us is Norikazu Hiramatsu, the CMO of BeInCrypto. Nori, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a lovely studio you got here.
Thank you so much. Could you share a little bit about yourself?
Of course. So I am CMO for BeInCrypto. BeInCrypto is a global news platform. We get around 7 to 8 million monthly visitors. And I've been with BeInCrypto for 2 years, almost 3 years now. And before coming into crypto, I worked for various fintech companies and startups. So I've moved from Web 2 to Web 3. So yeah.
This year, what story surprised you the most?
So off the top of my head, the most shocking one, so the most impactful one I can think of is probably like the kidnappings that happened in the first half of the year, with all these like top leaders and influential people in crypto. Like I think 2 happened in France and 1 happened in New York. And I think that really brings the fact that we are having the custody of our own digital assets. So there is no safety net like, in a normal banking system. It's very difficult for a criminal to, for example, take money from my bank account because there are various safety nets in place. But because of the inherent nature of crypto industry, it's much easier for criminals if they have access to your wallet to be able to, siphon the money, right? And just the brazen nature of it as well, right? It's like broad daylight, people getting kidnapped. And so I think it just brought it to attention because there was always this threat, obviously. But now, I've talked to a lot of top leaders in the industry, and obviously they're beefing up their security because of all this. And it's scary, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked about this year's news headline. What do you think about 2030's news headline? What will it say?
So this is an interesting one. I think what I would like to imagine would be something like blockchain, the quiet backbone of global infrastructure. The reason why that is because, you want blockchain technology to be in our day-to-day lives and people not to realize it's there. It's like the internet or smartphones, right? We don't say like, oh, this is built on the internet anymore because it's a given, right? Because it's we encounter it every day. It's part of our daily lives. So I'm hoping that maybe in 5-10 years time, blockchain technology will be so embedded into our day-to-day lives that we don't think about it that way.
Wow, you're such a builder. I was going to say Bitcoin to the moon, 1 million.
That too.
So thank you for your really fun answers. We want to learn a bit more about, how does a media outlet like BeInCrypto stay accurate while, the industry moves at such a fast speed?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and there's always you're walking a tightrope, right? Balancing speed and accuracy. But for us, we have, we pride ourselves in having journalists on the ground in multiple countries. So they are there so that they can catch, any breaking news, maybe locally or globally, whatever it might be, which I think differentiates us from a lot of our competitors. And secondly, I think speed is super important, but for us, accuracy is the most important because I think trust in the crypto industry is difficult to find, and we want to be this like trusted source of information, right? So we're part of the Trust Project, which is like a collaboration of top news media where we have, journalistic integrity, like principles for that. We have strong editorial guidelines, and we have like all these research methodologies, which you can find online on our website, by the way. So everything is super transparent. We try to provide the most honest and accurate news possible. So that's our first priority. And obviously speed also, because You know, you gotta try to break news as soon as it comes out.
That's very interesting how you talked about you're part of the trust foundation,
Trust project.
trust project.
Yeah.
Because in crypto, it's so noisy, incredibly noisy.
Yeah.
There's so many shillers and fudders that you don't know how to fact check it. So you said that. How does your team fact check it? You said there's a methodology.
Yeah, we have it online, how they make sure that they, do their due diligence every time we're breaking any news or, providing information. So I think that's super important.
What do you think is a common misconception that people have about crypto media?
No, that's also a very good question. I think that in general, people think that crypto media are not critical enough of the industry in general. They're too positive. And then we have like client journalism, right, where media is getting paid by advertisers or sponsors to write content. So you if you're too critical of something, then obviously it's going to be bad for your client, and so you don't write it. But for BeInCrypto, we're completely independent. So we try to keep neutral and make sure that everything we do is critically analyzed as well.
Would you say like most of your team crypto holders?
Yes, I would say so. Everyone is like super involved in the industry. Yeah.
Would that make them kind of like hype up their own investments?
That's a good, that's a very good point. But no, we make sure that all our news is, as I said, being part of the trust project and being completely objective and neutral is very important for us.
Right, because they all have to follow the methodology. So it kind of comes back to having to objectively see.
Yes, exactly. And people call you out for it as well if you are biased or if you have the kind of wrong information as well. So
yeah. How do you make your reporting appealing, especially when sensationalization is huge in the market?
Again, it's a delicate balance, right, of not being too clickbaity and making sure that you have the most accurate information. So for us, I think the most important things, as I said before, is to accurately portray whatever we are reporting. I think it's important to provide value, because there's so much AI churn coming out with like very high level, not deep content. So for us, we have, experts coming in from the industry and they give their insights to us. I think that's really important, having these experts provide their analysis or critique of the industry. So that's what we built into BeInCrypto as well.
How has AI shaped crypto media?
Yes, so AI has had a big influence on crypto media and online publishers in general, right? People can easily create content. The amount of noise that is created is obviously very difficult. I mean, Google's struggling with it as well, and many platforms are. So from my perspective, obviously the benefit of AI is that it's streamlined workflow for our editorial team and in general organization. So obviously doing like research is much easier now, monitoring trends and things like that. And also a lot of crypto media use AI to do localization and translation.
Right.
For us, we don't because we have local teams. Right. But I mean, it definitely does speed up. But obviously, AI has its own problems as well. And I'm sure you've used their translation. Sometimes it's not completely correct and it misses on some nuances as well.
So yeah, that actually makes a huge difference to still have that human touch with localized teams.
100%. I think the human touch is a very important aspect because the more this content grows and there's more AI content in particular, the human touch becomes important.
How are you leveraging the AI though? What exactly are you doing to leverage the AI to stay ahead?
Good question. So I think AI is very good at doing high value but time consuming, quite monotonous things. So for example, in a podcast like this, we'll use AI to polish the audio, for example, or transcribing, which is super arduous, right? But AI can do it very easily. Captioning, of course, and, enhancing in general, like video content and content. Same with written content, grammar checking, make sure your writing flow in general is okay. But that's after, we've had our human journalists go through the news, right through it completely, of course.
Do they ever use AI to just do a draft write-up the first draft of an article, or do they like to go the old school way?
So we like to go the old school way. We definitely incorporate AI into like doing the research and collating some of the information, but that's mainly when we've already got the information from our, like our global newsroom, and we want to verify, for example. But the problem with AI as well is that it likes to make things up. It likes to hallucinate, as I like to call it, right? So it has a confirmation bias. So you would ask it to confirm something, it can create like some problems there as well. So we have to be very careful. I think AI is definitely improving and we incorporate more and more, but being in an industry like the crypto media, you have to be very careful with what you do with AI still.
I wanted to understand more about your community, the BeInCrypto community.
Yeah.
How do you see the community involvement shaping the future of crypto journalism?
Crypto journalism. Okay. Like, I think community in crypto, I mean, it's the heartbeat, right? Because especially compared to other industries like finance and tech, the community has huge influence over a lot of things. I think for in the future with crypto journalism, I think the community is going to have much bigger influence on what is written and how it's written, and generally kind of the editorial direction. So it's going to be less about us broadcasting news, and it's going to be more of a two-way relationship, right? Where the community is there to kind of react to the news, be a verifier, and also to give their own feedback. So I think it's going to be more of a dialogue in the future.
And you feel like right now it's very one way where it's just presenting itself?
I think it's still a bit more traditional, in that, it's like one way, but I think it's changing, of course.
Could you see a fully decentralized news platform in the future where the community are also the stakeholders and the writers and the fact checkers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one day it's going to be tokenized and people have tokens, so they'll be stakeholders, right? So they'll be able to influence the editorial direction, the narratives, vote for what kind of, for example, funding investigative reporting. That'll be pretty cool. So they'll be like, okay, there's this new scandal that broke. And then everybody's funding and kind of voting with their tokens or funding to say, okay, we want to investigate this and get it, write a report about it. I think that'll be really cool. And of course, being decentralized, and you can split the revenue as well that's being generated from the news platform. So I think that will be like the super idealistic future of news platforms. Talking about this like decentralized scenario, I think it's a very good point, right? Because there has to be some governance structure and ethics involved in it. And if you're always chasing the most click-worthy popular news, maybe your direction is going to become very degenerate. Then the integrity of that news platform might be compromised.
Yeah.
For example, and people might want to be shilling their own stuff, so they'll like get the most tokens and they'll fund it to their advantage. So for BeInCrypto, for us, of course, we're independent and we get money to do editorial work, of course, but that is completely separate from what we report in the news, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you kind of see the community having almost governance tokens, having to look at all the different articles and then deciding, okay, you're a shiller, no, you're neutral, you're accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be very complex, and I'm not clever enough to think of how it'll be structured. But yeah, I'm sure somebody much more cleverer than me can do that.
I still love the idea that you're already attempting this idea of having a trust community.
Yeah.
Kind of, because I follow investigative journalism as well on Twitter, for example. Prime XBT does a lot of investigative work on hacks and scandals. So, but right now, I believe no one's funding him. He's doing this out of his own willpower. And imagine if the community starts funding him.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. I think he does probably get money from like, bounties and stuff, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think, and also like high quality journalism is on the decline because obviously everyone's trying to chase for impressions and clicks.
Yeah.
So having some kind of, structure where it benefits high quality journalism and rewards these amazing journalists will be great.
Thank you so much, Nori, for this incredible insight to everything. We're going to go into a quick fire round.
Okay, sounds awesome.
Yeah? I'm going to ask you some really fast questions and then you're going to respond back really quickly.
Okay. I'll try my best.
You only have 1 second. Bull or bear market?
Bear.
Which one makes for more exciting headlines?
Bear, for sure.
Bear market?
Yeah. Because everyone hates losing money, so everyone will click in to read about it on the news.
So bearish sentiment is more click-worthy.
Yes.
One crypto buzzword you wish could disappear forever?
Utility.
Token utility?
Yeah, I just hate the word utility because the fact is, if you're building something, it should inherently have utility. So if you don't have utility, that means you're you're creating a solution to a problem that you don't need.
I'm guessing you're not a fan of meme coins.
No comment.
Fair enough, you can use that. What is the story that you've dreamed of covering in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years. Well, here's the one. If Bitcoin gets to 1 million, then I would like to cover that one.
Well, we got to have speed. We'll make sure that you're the first person to find out the moment Bitcoin hits 1 mil.
For sure.
If there's one piece of advice you can give to our viewers right now, what would you like to tell them?
One piece of advice to the viewers. Well, if you're going to become a big online platform, I think the most important thing is to understand your passion and what value you can bring, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're building a online empire, it's not going to take 1 or 2 years. It might take 5 to 10 years. So if you don't have passion, you're going to get burnt out at some stage. So I think having passion of what you're covering is super important.
Thank you so much, Nori, for being here today. If you've enjoyed this episode, remember to hit subscribe to stay tuned for more episodes like this. Nori, would you like to say bye?
See you later.
Bye.